CNBC reports Elon Musk's Neuralink raises $650 million in fresh capital. Is there any way we can like zoom that out just a little bit here for a second as I'm reading it? I'll read it and he's gonna get that there. A couple of the key points. Here's what we need to know. Elon Musk's brain tech startup Neuralink has closed a $650 million funding round. It's crazy. The fresh capital will help the company develop new devices that deepen the connection between biological and artificial intelligence, according to a press release. Neuralink is building a brain-computer interface, or BCI, which is a system that translates brain signals into commands for external technologies. It also turns out that as you go down, Elon Musk's brain tech startup Neuralink has closed $650 million in funding. ARK Invest, Founders Fund, Sequoia Capital, Thrive Capital, Lightspeed Venture Partners, and other firms participated in the round. According to a press release, Neuralink said the fresh capital will help the company bring in technology to more patients and develop new devices that deepen the connection between biological and artificial intelligence. All right, so we talk a lot about Palantir. We haven't heard a lot about Neuralink in the news. Obviously, this is not something that's going away. That's nearly half or more of $1 billion just for R&D, which is that's insane numbers to think about for a product, right? Especially one that we have no idea what it's going to be used for. I don't know what your thoughts on this are, but I feel like what's happening right now is that we are transitioning into a new age of humanity. Kind of like when you look at you watch something from like the 1910 versus 2010, and you think of someone who's like 100 who lived through that, and you're like, what was that like, transitioning? I feel like since 2020, 2001 is when it really, really kicked off. The 90s were like the last good decade. But 2019, 2020 for sure was like, okay, we are in from Trump's first administration now going through like a 10-year global transition into something. They're changing us into something. Then boom, the pandemic hit. They did the reset. They did the shift. And you're like, wow. The world is not the same anymore. This is crazy. And now it seems like all we hear about is this hyper investment in artificial intelligence. But again, I've never heard anyone be able to explain to me exactly what AI is, how we found it, and why we're able to improve it so quickly. Is AI developing itself? I don't really know. And again, nobody's telling me. And why is it so secretive? What's your best guess?
Well, look, I've made 3 films on this, and me and Ed have been to Davos, Switzerland, and we've heard Yuval Harari, who's like one of the prophets of this new 4th industrial revolution. And this is what it is. We've gone through industrial revolutions. And what is an industrial revolution? It's when the whole world uses it. So we look at one of the first ones was they made all nuts and bolts the same regular shapes and sizes. This seems just so like nuanced, but you build that way. Everybody's on the same train, you could say, going to the same thing. So then you had the third, which was computing. Everybody is changing the world. An industrial revolution, the be specific, it's when everyone uses it in society. The 4th industrial revolution is the change of us from within. This is Klaus Schwab's own words at Davos. So we talk about the Internet of Things, the Internet of Bodies. That's where we are. We are the 4th industrial revolution, the human body. So you look at biometrics, we look at data tracking. That's why we're sounding the alarm to this new technology, because like I said, technology is neutral. It's whose hands it is what happens with it, good or bad. Now, they always serve it to you as this is a good thing. We're going to make people who cannot walk be able to have a function in society. That's a good thing. But then when you have people like DARPA or any other Lockheed Martin or anything, they use this for control and power. And ultimately, that's where it always ends up. The sediment always ends at the bottom where it's used for control and power. And that's why we ring the alarms, because the people in power use it for those means.
Well, I think that there are some technologies which are obviously evil. I mean, that device that Elijah was bringing up earlier, I'm not sure if that one has any redeeming qualities, but the device that Elon Musk is developing, this whole sale is going to be that you'd be able to text while just thinking, right? And how many people are going to take that? That's the scariest part about this. I think 10 years from now, we are going to have a co-host who is going to literally be tweeting while you're on the show. It's going to get annoying too, but the really creepy part is that I think Matt was kind of hinting on the fact that cyborgs will be a reality in only maybe 10 years.
Well,
And-
not even
Yeah,
that.
well, it's this whole thing where they're trying to blend us with technology, and it's like at a certain point, can you really say that's morally neutral? I mean, to me, it does seem just like intrinsically evil because it's intrinsically anti-human and kind of taking away from us what it really means to be human.
Well, like we don't feel better. Like I think a lot of people maybe our age and younger, they feel empty. We're more lonely than we've ever been, but more connected.
Look, and I'm not one to say, oh, technology's bad. I love technology. Technology's good. It's what they want to do with it. When you read the papers, when you read everything that came from the Club of Rome to WEF, it's all about there's too many of us. And that's a problem because when they use this technology, they use it for their means to push their agenda. And their agenda really is to put us in 15-minute cities, to control us in a way that they can organize us and not let us rock the boat. And
Australia, they want the whole world to be Australia.
dude, Australia
That's
was a
actually
blueprint.
the truth.
I'm so happy you got out of there because that was a dangerous place to be. Just look at the gun laws with Australia. They took guns away from one madman with an assault rifle.
Which the government did, by the way. That was a government inside
Was that
thing.
insane? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a
So
government
again,
thing.
we look at these like false flags, right? And we look
You
at
could have
these things
stopped
where
it for hours. Check it out.
yeah, so I don't doubt it, right? Because anything that grabs power is usually orchestrated. We saw that with the 9/11 is the number one go-to example of what was ushered in after those towers fell. Which I plan, and hopefully we get to do that movie and make that for
the 25th
anniversary.
Yep.
Which hasn't been told correctly yet. But what I say is when we look at this technology and this fourth industrial revolution, I'm going to play you a clip that I gave you today that Klaus Schwab is talking about. Whoever owns this technology will rule the world. Like those are real words, okay? And this man is a very, very influential. When me and Ed were in Davos, 2018 and 2020, when Trump went there for the first time, we are standing around kings, queens, heads of business. It is neo-fascism on ultra. It's the highest level of fascism you can see because there is business and politics, king and queens all meeting together to orchestrate how they're going to serve over us, be our overlords. And when Yuval Harari came up there talking that there's going to be a new species of people, that Homo sapiens are going to change and get more elevated to a new species, Christine Lagarde, Angela Merkel all stood up and gave a standing ovation. And I'm like, bro, we just witnessed the beast system coming to fruition. Right now is the beginning of it. As a Christian filmmaker and who puts Christ first, I know how the end happens. But before that happens, there's going to be a beast system is built. And we are living in those times right now. Everybody wants to think they're at the end times. And yes, the birthing pains are increasingly growing. You can see them. But when they were able to change us from the inside with DNA, CRISPR technology, the introduction of mRNA technology and graphene oxide, when those things were brought into the public, we are in a new paradigm now, my friend, where we can change the molecular structure of things and change them. I can change your DNA to now do things externally, which we're going to prove in our film. We are living not in some science fiction like Kingsman world. This is the reality we are in right now.